Alright. So I gotta update this a little bit. So, deck cooking. This will be Gumbo. Okay, so I'm trying to attack the meta a little differently. With something that, we've worked on before. We've worked on Pawpsicle in the past. And let me bring up the Dreamborn link for it here. Gumbo. Okay, so basically this leans a lot more into the combo rather than being sort of passively like, oh, we're a little bit of both or whatever. This just cuts like most of the top end and then leans all the way into Pabbie. We've cut the Tamatoas in favor of Nick. We've cut the scars, which maybe I add another scar back in since we're so low on uninkables. But the idea is that you are playing more to the board, and then you are more aggressively adding like the gumbos and whatever to the board so that you can close out the game much more quickly with Pabbie rather than waiting until you have 16 ink in your hand or whatever. You're doing it much earlier because you've got your Judies that quest for 2, Grandmaster, questing for a few before it turns into ink itself. The Noi and the Nick also quest for 2, so you're using these earlier resources to try and get ink while you're sort of setting up for that later. I was thinking about 1-drops, but really we kind of want the Pawpsicles turn 1, but maybe this deck still just needs 1-drops. Yeah, we're trying to just is it combo. Like, I was even considering just dumping the Maleficent Dragon for, like, a 1-drop of some sort. Like, maybe Minnie Mouse, because it goes well with the teeth. Like, basically, we just play aggro, and then, like, just dump them that way. I mean, this would almost be a budget deck, then, as well, because if we cut the Maleficent Dragon, it goes down to, like, $100. Let's try that, maybe. Let's do this, and then let's add in, whatever, 1-drop Minnie Mouse. She'll be down here somewhere. This. She will be here. Let's try that. Yeah, now the deck is, like, pretty cheap. Your most expensive cards are, like, the Lady Tremaines, which could probably be turned into Dragonfires or something, or even just let it go. And then, I guess, Teeth and Ambitions, like the removal, because the Be Prepared is pretty necessary, I think. But the rest of the stuff is all pretty cheap. You could probably even get away without Noi if you just put something else in that spot. I think Noi is nice because it's pretty lore dense, but there's other ones that quest pretty aggressively too. So let's update the list on Pixelborn real quick here, and then I will give it a try. Maybe it sucks. I don't know. But I thought it was worth giving a go at least. We'll jam a couple games with it. Maybe we will test some of the more interesting lists that came out of some of the tournaments this weekend. Hey, JT Robinson, appreciate the follow. Yeah, there's a few lists that came out this weekend that are kind of interesting. I mean, I've played a lot of the Ruby and Amethyst in the last week and a half or whatever. So I don't know if we can really want to test some of those tweaks of those decks. I'm going to kind of broaden out the horizon a little bit and try some other stuff. It was a tragic bit of... it's mostly just different tech that came out this weekend than anything else. The alert sound is a little high. Interesting. Okay, I'll see if I can adjust that here. Give me a second. Let me figure out my first couple turns here. Let's do something like this. Nice, we found a Pawpsicle. Okay, so given that we have a Pawpsicle, I think we can get rid of Judy here. And then just run it a 1-drop. Yeah, let me look at the alert sound here. I think that's in somewhere. Here. I don't know where it is. I'll figure it out in a minute. So we quest here. We're looking to run out the Mother Gothel. So we don't need the Tala. If we do. Because like next turn we can literally like Gumbo Pot Pawpsicle the Mother Gothel if we want. I'm assuming that they're going to play a snake, but it's hard to say. They could Teeth and Ambition the Gothel here, which would be a little annoying. But if they do that, then they're just like not attacking at all. So maybe it's fine. They opt for the snake. We found Annoy, we like that. Snake makes this a little awkward, because it kind of pumps the brakes a little bit. Let's play a Pawpsicle and draw a card. Okay, we can ink a Grandmaster here. I don't particularly want to heal my Gothel in this spot. I have a concern that if our opponent plays Teeth and Ambition, like they sing Teeth and Ambition on this to blast here, and then they Fox Mim the Minnie Mouse, they can just wipe our whole board. Which would be a bit awkward, since we can't really compete going back the other direction. I don't really want to use my Pawpsicle to draw. I wonder if I just play out the Noi and say go. The snake is a bit of a problem. Nice. Yeah, there's some lists that I've been seeing that are incorporating some Ursulas into sort of the existing stuff, and I'm thinking that there's probably a hybrid in there somewhere that does what a lot of these decks are trying to accomplish here. So that is a little awkward. I would like to play this Gumbo Pot, but I also would like to play this Pawpsicle to draw extra cards. Maybe we could just get rid of the Pawpsicle to play the Flabbersham here. So we got a bunch of B-preps. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I get past for one more turn, and then we probably get into Rumble a bit next turn. I'm thinking maybe I should have gotten rid of this and kept the Pawpsicle, because it's just better to draw cards with the Pawpsicle and the Flabbersham, now that I'm thinking about it. I think we need to have been a little more aggressive here. Like, now that I'm thinking about the Noi in this spot, I feel like that should have just been the Gumbo Pot. And then we could just, like, have been attacking and healing the Gothel. Interesting. We maybe could have just played the Grandmaster over the Noi. That might have been a little better. Because the Noi doesn't really do much for us in this matchup. Kind of matchup dependent, I think. Because, like, the Noi against the Mim just doesn't really function. We'll be learning. Do have the Mim Fox. It's another Noi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we're playing this for sure. I'm just debating if I bash and draw more cards, like playing towards the B preps. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to kill everything next turn, though if they play specifically Maui, then they just like get to blow up our whole universe. Because then they get to just like attack, attack, attack. Leaves us with Minnie Mouse, but we do get to draw more cards then. Feel like we kind of have to draw a card and see where we're at. Another Flaversham and a Nick, huh? That's actually not bad. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We have a pretty good refill here. Like, we just Nick and Pawpsicle. And then we have another Flaversham going. I weirdly don't feel that terrible where we're at, which is kind of strange, even with this attack. They have the crab instead of the Maui, sure. They still get to clean up 2 things. I think we get to keep the Gothel then, which is kind of interesting. I maybe would have hit the Noi, but they might have teeth or something else to do that. They have teeth, sure. That's fine. So we got a Judy. Let's play Nick here. Draw a Pawpsicle. We'll run out the Pawpsicle here. So we found a Maui, but we actually have the B preps, so I think that's a little better way of kind of cleaning up the whole world here. We could just eat a Mim Snake if we sack the Pawpsicle, but I think I'd rather just Flaversham it. So I think we're getting rid of the Maui here. And I think I'm just going to quest for 1 and say go. Like, I'd like to realistically keep them from questing and just keep adding some of these 2 lore things. Interesting. So the deck kind of has to play a little bit more aggressively. And maybe those first few turns we just didn't play aggressively enough. Kind of makes me like the Grandma even more, since it can just kind of go hard with questing. Okay, so we've got a Gothel. So I have 2 options here. I can choose to blow this up, but I don't think this is that scary. I think I'd rather maybe commit some stuff to the board. Let's start with Flaversham and draw 2 cards. And kind of see where we're at with it. Thinking we still don't really need the Maui. Kinda just weirdly want to do this. I don't think we have to quest this turn. So there's an argument for playing the Gumbo Pop this turn. Specifically because it enables us to just like slam the Pabbie like bash into one of these and heal a couple times. But I think I can afford to wait. A little bit, anyway. Teeth and Ambitions is a pretty good draw here. I think we're playing this Gumbo Pots for sure. I want more healing, weirdly. Healing that we don't necessarily have. We could take out this Merlin. So that they don't have that as an option with the teeth if we want. In theory, I'm going to be playing Pabbie next turn. So this is 2, this is 5. That'll put us to 12. Means that we need to heal a total of 4 times if we want to go from that all the way to lethal. I don't think that we need to commit yet. I think I can afford to just like play the Gothel here. I can teeth. We can put the damage on like Flaversham and the Merlin and then just heal it a little bit here. And then say go. Disaster scenario would be if they B-prep us, I guess. Which I didn't really think of. We should have probably just gained the 12. In retrospect. Maybe they won't B-prep us, but it seems like probably what's going to happen. I think I fucked it a little bit. Yeah, okay. We have fucked it a little bit. I should have gone to 12. I don't know why I didn't. Like, I know that they have B-prep, and I was looking at the lore. As soon as I passed, I realized how bad that was an error. It's okay. We're figuring the deck out a little bit. Like, I should just be trying to claw for any lore that I can so that this doesn't need to work as hard. I'm still playing it like I was the old Pawpsicle deck. Another Maui, huh? Yeah, I really fucking shit the bed this game. Damn, I actually think we had a shot of just blasting him with the Pabbie. I somehow, like, feel like I don't have that much ink this game, and I don't really know if that's because we haven't drawn a lot of cards. We've drawn 6 cards, but we lost a bunch of cards for free. So I feel like that plays a bit of a role. Just like have no damage on our characters. What to do? Singing Teeth doesn't make any sense. Man. Mess this game up a little bit. I'm likely thinking that we try to be prepared and just set up in a couple more turns. But I'm not loving where we're at. Another rabbit. Okay. I feel like they've drawn a little too many cards. I don't know what they're looking for. But it seems unlikely that what they're looking for is going to be... I mean, I guess they're just looking for more foxes and ghosts to close the game. Hey, Rashi. I like even playing this Maui was bad. Like, everything about this game has been rough. We'll concede. We'll just go next. I definitely did not play that very well. I think we need to be playing it more aggressively, and I just, like, didn't attack for 3 turns. Which is just, like, not the aggressor there. Like, in most of those spots, the, I mean, it wasn't just turn 7. Like, I should have also quested probably, earlier, and I should have been playing more... I should have been playing more of the Grammatalas and less of the noise, because this matchup, like, the noise doesn't really matter, because the way that our opponent is answering them is just like 3/3s, whereas the Grandma is at least ramping us if we are losing it while we're questing, rather than having it held back. Interestingly, this could be a deck where Minnie Mouse, or Mickey Mouse is good. Because, like, we want the shitty body. It's hard to say. This looks pretty good, actually. Maybe this isn't even a Fishbone cool deck. Like, I have no idea. I got no idea. Archimedes. We'll keep the Gothel for now. Maybe I should just use the shield as another card with hops here. I don't care about the quill with the double Grandma. This already puts us at 5. Like, we don't really care that much about inking more of our stuff. We have an option of inking Judy and playing Mother Gothel Noi. Or we can play Judy, dump the Pawpsicle, and then that's all we get to do this turn. Thanks, I appreciate it. I hope we get to do more commentary soonish here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to dump the Judy and play 2 cards. Like, I'd rather keep this for if we draw a Flabbersham. See, yeah, this is why I should have been playing the Grandmaster before, because, like, they just get to basically free attack forever. We can use the Gumbo Pot with the Gothel to actually, just, like, kill the Mim for free with this. Like, if we Pawpsicle and Gothel here. So that's an option. We can also Noi the Maleficent and Grandmaster it, and then we can leave them with just the Merlin Rabbit that could trade with the Gothel, I guess. That's an option. Our Noi would not have damage on it as well. I don't think that's terrible. So let's do this. Heal these two. Do this. Pawpsicle here. Kill the Mim. Do this. There you go. I don't, like, love it, but we might need to find more draw card for this deck. Just not sure where we're going to find more draw card. Somewhere, I suppose. We're playing out cards too fast and not replacing them. I was a little worried about Maui, actually. It's a bit of a beating. I could play the Tremaine here to deal with Maui, but I don't really care that much. I'd rather do this. We can get him later. Let's do that, and then that'll force him to ink the Grandmaster. Like, I feel like for the amount of stuff that we did, we have, like, no lore. We did clean up what our opponent was doing, but, like, all of their cards drew another card. So it's, like, a little awkward. Puts us to 6. I have these B preps. I feel like we should just be trying to draw cards with the Nick Wilds for now, though. At least for one more turn. Gumbo Pot could play down or could be ink. Because we can go to 9 with the other Nick and then B prep. So we have the double B prep that we can run out. Or with a Tremaine backup. I'm feeling like there's a stat line problem with some of these characters that I may need to go back to the drawing board on. Think about that for a second while I wait for my opponent to do something. Like, weirdly, maybe this deck needs Mini Surfer. Like, it's so good in this deck. I don't know why it wouldn't be good here as well. Like, this just might not be a Fishbone Quill deck. So they run out of Goat. and just a goat. Still fine with this, I think. There's a world where we do the Gaston package, like the red Gaston and then the big blue one. That Gaston actually quests for quite a bit, which I think is kind of interesting. This is kind of shit if they have a Tremaine of their own. But the only way for us to fix that is with Flaversham, like, sent to the Inkwell and playing Gothel, which I just don't think is necessarily the solution. But this does play us into Tremaine a little bit. I probably should have just played Flaversham and Gothel and left the stupid rabbit. Interesting. They B-prep it. Okay. Well, then we're overthinking for nothing. Draw 2. Let's Ink Mini. We'll just run on Nick Wild here. And then say go. I actually feel like we might win this one. It's kind of sweet. So what is the big blue Gaston's shift? What does that look like? Elsa. Okay. Smart Gaston shift is 4. It's kind of interesting, actually. Pawpsicle. I guess we'll just Flaversham. Draw a handful of cards here. Double Teeth and Ambitions. I think that's really necessary here. Get rid of 1. Did they bounce the Elsa back just to buy more time, I guess? Suppose that makes sense. So Shift Gaston is pretty solid, actually, weirdly. Grab a Pawpsicle. Let's play out a bunch of cards. Get rid of our unnecessary Teeth and Ambitions, I guess. Say go. Named Gary. Did not know that. I mean, Gary is kind of old man's name at this point. It's like an old generation type of name. So they're just going to replay their Maui to kill my Flaversham, but I feel like I've already played enough Flavershamming. I don't really need more necessarily. Is that enough to finish the game? I think so. We want to do the math on it, so I'm just going to do it. This is this, and then this one, I guess. That's, yeah, that's plenty. I don't need to do the math. Math is unnecessary. Let's do this, do this. Play Pabbie, Gumbo. Said we Gumbo. Okay, so what did we like, what did we hate there? Some of our play patterns were a little awkward, but I didn't hate everything that we were doing in that spot. It is interesting that maybe the Shift Gaston is in an interesting spot because it allows us to still draw cards. But then also Quest for 3, which is kind of neat. I don't know what the cut is. Fishbone Quill, probably. So we're just, like, not really a ramp deck anymore. We have B-Prep and Grand Pabbie, and then everything else is cheaper. Like, we could shave on Tremaines, too. And just be the aggressive deck instead of the control deck. A little bit more. Like, cut down maybe a Tremaine. Get rid of these and the Pabbie. We'll keep the rest. Do we just get all the same cards back? We got a B-Prep and a Maleficent, or a Lady Tremaine, and then, like, we got one new card. So we're playing discard. So we don't necessarily need the mini. I think I'd rather play the Pawpsicle. So that we can start getting some of this on the board. I'm considering the Noi over the Grammatala here. Specifically because it has Shroud. So if we're not playing the Grammatala for that reason, I think we just do this. And then we can kind of keep up with this, like, lore gain nonsense that they're doing. And then we'll just start slamming Judy Hops. Oh, they're like bodyguards or something. No, they still played Prince John. Teeth and Ambitions. Could blast the Flynn Rider here. That's an option. We don't need to make that choice right now. Can do that next turn, potentially. This makes this no longer have Ward. I'll do it to the next one. Like, we'll play this and then use this one to, because we'll keep one item in play. So it's kind of the same whether we do the draw card now or next turn. Now the question becomes, well, let's play the Pawpsicle if we're planning on doing that anyway. And get rid of the redundant Maui here. Play out a Judy Hops. Break a Pawpsicle to draw a card. Draw another Noi. So we're likely going to want to smash the Daisy Duck next turn. With this Maui. I'm debating on whether or not I use the Teeth and Ambitions and kill the Flynn Rider. I don't think I care. Like, we're keeping pace with what they're doing. And we can play Tremaine in 2 turns if we want as well. We'll see what they play. I mean, maybe we will regret this choice. It seems pretty likely that we can just out-aggro them, but the Captain Hook makes that fucking awkward. So maybe the Teeth and Ambitions is better just to blast the Captain Hook. Like, we Maui the Daisy Duck, we sing a Teeth and Ambitions to kill the Captain Hook, and then we just, like, ignore the Flynn Rider. Hey Manticore, how are you? Just like slept all day. Just my sleep schedule's just non-existent. It's crazy. It's like flipped, so I'm just awake all night and into the morning, and then I sleep during the day. What are we doing there, opponents? It appears that we're doing nothing. Interesting that the shield is kind of cute, but I don't think we need it. I think we just stick with the same plan that I had. We play the Maui to bash the Daisy Duck. We sing the Teeth and Ambitions. Do we just hit the Maui? I kind of don't care. We could hit this too, but then... yeah, we can just hit the Maui. And do like this, and then... hit these two. And like, if we have the ability to play Tremaine next turn, great. If we don't, like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they ended up either conceding because they missed their last turn or what, but kind of just like out-aggro them a little bit. Alright, what other characters could we in theory run that would be solid here? There's the Caterpillar at 3 that is just a 3-lore thing. I think is okay. It's a little bad on the stat line. Like, at least the Judy Hops is a 2-lore that does another thing, like sometimes it can just draw a card. I was thinking about Winnie the Pooh having a think instead of Fishbone Quill. It's just like a character instead of just an item, especially because we don't need as much item synergy. We get rid of these. We can get rid of a Maui as well. We can be much more aggressive with our mulligans, because we have so few uninkables in this particular version. So it's very unlikely for us to have like a non-functional hand, like a truly non-functional one anyway. Of course we're against RP again. The noise are a little mid here, but we can get rid of one then. We'll play one out. I don't think I'm gonna have the Judy blow up a Pawpsicle, but we might just blow up that with the Flabbersham. I think we'll do Flabbersham just for the Nick Wild. We could play the Gumbo Pot next turn. It's probably better just to play the Judy Hops just as a better threat. This is my assumption. Like, imagine if this was Winnie the Pooh here. Stat line's the same, right? I just had it up. Stat line is also 2-3. Interesting. Shere Khan's a little annoying. We could eat the Minnie Mouse kind of for free if we want. Just like hit it here, hit it here. We could just quest for 4. The Shere Khan is a bit annoying though. I'm debating on how much I care about this Gumbo Pot versus just another Nick Wild. I don't think we have the time to play another Nick Wild here. If I Flaversham, then our Noi loses the protection. And I think that's fine. We can even just not attack with it this turn. Let's take one turn off. Mostly respecting the Shere Khan a little bit here. I'm thinking that the noise just don't work with the way that the deck is built currently. Which is unfortunate, but... like, I should have just attacked last turn, I think. Thanks, I hate it. Okay. So we found a Pabbie, so we have something of a plan. Like, when are we getting this Gumbo pot down? Fucking never. Could draw 2 cards now. Should then make them have to, like, gain 2 lore with these next turn. I can choose to wait, and then that'll give me a little bit of control with what we do with the Lady Tremaines. The Noi has been a little disappointing with the way that the stat lines and stuff have been in most of these matchups. So if they end up questing with everything, we can do pretty well with our Tremaine here. Between the teeth and the, like, what we have on the board. So if we hit 1, 2, 3, and then this, then we can play the Tremaine instead of the Gumbo. Could also just B-prep them next turn. We could hit Nick here. I guess, when am I going to Tremaine? Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could just play a Tremaine, not worry about this Teeth and Ambitions, and then just B-prep them next turn. Like, I'll let them sack the Minnie Mouse or whatever. And then we just quest with everything. B-prep, and then... surprised I didn't kill the Minnie Mouse here. Yeah, I don't want them to draw a bunch of cards with the Queen of Hearts unnecessarily. And we're a turn ahead for the B-prep too, so... pick a fight. Okay. How does that work? That just lets the one character do that, right? Huh. Why didn't they do this one? Am I silly? Wouldn't this just have eaten the Nick Wild? I suspect that it would have. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just do the plan here. This. Still don't think we really need the Fishbone Quill. B-prep. Say go. Like, that was weird. They could have killed the Nick Wild and it would have been the same as far as... I guess all their characters only quest for one, so it's like, kind of whatever. Yeesh. Yeah, if they wheeled it would have made it a little weird. If we play out the Tremaine, play a Gumbo pot, they go. They could have a Tremaine here, I suppose. I don't really know what this deck plays. I'm unfamiliar with it. They did cast Pick a Fight on us, just to replace itself. They opt not to play the Beast to blow up our Gumbo pot. Ah, Tinkerbell. Sure. Grand Pabbie. Do we just like go all in here? We could gain 6. We'd lose our Flabbersham then, because we'd have to quest with the Tremaine, which makes it a little awkward. Feels unnecessary to do that. I think I could just do this and say go. I suppose that this is a B prep line then. Oh, they wheel us. Okay, sure. Why didn't they sing the wheel? What? This definitely gets them killed here then, right? Now I wish I played that other Gumbo pot. This is just 5. That puts us at 16. And then I can play Gothel, Nick Wild, get a Pawpsicle, Gumbo this, Pawpsicle, draw a card, heal this. That'll do. Neat. I mean, all things considered, the deck didn't feel that bad. Like, being more aggressive rather than trying to do nothing until the control. Like, I don't think this deck needs Fishbone Quill at all. This isn't really a ramp deck, necessarily. Yeah, Pabbie's incredibly strong. Like, Pabbie is just very good. Anything that allows you to just do a ton of lore gain in one turn is definitely worth considering. Okay, so let's go back to this here. And I want to see what other types of nonsense we can put in here that would allow us to get a lot of lore really quickly if we want, and still be on game plan, right? So things that I'm considering, I'm thinking about Winnie the Pooh having a think, because this would be sort of that same role of the Fishbone Quill, except it can gain lore, which is better, I think, for a deck like this, maybe. I'm thinking about Gaston, and then the cheaper Gaston for a shift target. Like this gaining 3. I'm not sure if that's better than just some of the other 4-drops. Like our 4-drop slot is a little heavy then. Because right now it's 8, and if we add a couple of these, like it gets a little high. But our uninkable count is very low right now. Noi over the Weasel. That's the Weasel. Duke. Yeah, I mean, the resist is nice. Because it does allow us to do Teeth and Ambitions on occasion. And we should have an item out a lot of the time. But it is a little awkward. Because, like, our 2-drop slot is kind of overloaded right now. To the point where I almost want to start cutting some 2s to spread it around a little bit more. And of the cards, like, the Noi feels the worst, weirdly. Like, all I want to be doing is putting Grammatalis down on 2 in the deck like this. Hey, Skatum. Appreciate the follow. Like, there's all these weird, like, characters that also do a thing that are interesting because they're awkward in a lot of decks, but in something like what we're playing, where we just want characters that push a little bit of lore so that we can get to a later stage of the game with enough lore to, like, Pabbie them to death. Nice. It's easy game, easy life, right? And you get to always just have a ton of cards in your hand. All those things are great. Are we weak to steal with this deck? Not really, right? Okay, I was thinking about Cogsworth, but I don't think we really need Cogsworth. Why are we only looking at blue? Where's my red cards? Red cards. So, are there any interesting red cards that we could be looking at as well? So, for our 3-drop slot, there's, like, Mini Surfer. That is something that would be worth considering. If we're not planning on being, like, the ramp deck. Like, I think we're just straight up cutting the Quills from this deck. Because I just don't think that they're needed. So, like, Mini Surfer is a card that's reasonable here. I would say that is probably one of the few red cards that I would even care about, at least from the new set. I think Donald Duck is too expensive for what it does. The Shift Tremaine is unnecessary in this deck. I don't think it's where we want to be, because we can't really bounce it to replay and do that, so it's just like a kind of mid card. I don't love Sisu, and the only reason, there's a couple of reasons that I don't like it. One is that it, like, draws a card, but it has to attack first, whereas, like, something like Nick Wilde always draws a card. Something like Flaversham can always draw the card. Obviously, I need the Pawpsicle, but if we don't have Pawpsicle, like, the deck kind of can struggle a little bit anyway. Which is why I was thinking about playing Gaston and then also running the big Gaston, because then that would be like a draw card 4-drop with, if we shift it onto here, that also can quest for 3, and then it gives us something else to play, like, at 6. Like, maybe we cut down on Tremaine a little bit and play Gastons instead. Like, we just try to be the beatdown instead of the control deck. Which I think is kind of interesting. Okay, let's try this. Let's cut a couple of Tremaines. Let's cut all these Noise. How many cards is this? 56? Got a full set of Gastons? That's so many Gastons. Need more 3-drops now. Where's Winnie the Pooh? Here, Winnie the Pooh having a think. Maybe we go like this. Stinkable. What do we think of this? What does this look like? We're still a little heavy on 2-drops, but it's better. These can be ink a lot. Gaston is still pretty decent, I think, off the top. And then this is sort of an Inkwell plus a character. Nah, because, like, we want the Pabbies, because we're still gaining ink, right? Because we still have the Grammatallas. We still have a lot of the draw cards to get there, and we want these payoff cards sooner than later, right? Especially with the Winnie the Pooh, like, this is functionally our Inkwell, or our ink stuff. Like, maybe even going up to the third one is not bad. Like, drop a Judy and go to the Winnie the Pooh here. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And then go export, copy. I just want to try it. Like, I've dismissed it this whole season, basically. And I'm curious to see if these cards are, like, playable, you know? And since I don't necessarily have any paper tournaments coming up anytime soon, I feel like I can cook a little bit. Because it is not particularly easy outside of Smash to deal directly with Winnie the Pooh before it gets to attack once. And we don't necessarily need a ton of ramp. Like, in those last handful of games that we played, it didn't feel like we were ever in a spot where we're like, man, we really need Fishbone Quill to get ahead on ramp. It's not that we hate the idea of a Fishbone Quill, but we really don't need it. And maybe we do up the shield count and play Sisu. And, like, maybe this is just the shield Sisu deck. I just don't like that Sisu also doesn't have ward. Like, it doesn't have anything that protects it. Even if we have shield, like, it's kind of a slow draw. But maybe that's good enough. Like, maybe the shield is worth it because it allows us to sort of protect our idiots. And then we just, like, do a little bit more of that to get our early lore. Like, the more shields that you have, the more I like Noi. Like, it's weird. So we send these two back for sure. Why do we still have Noi in the deck? Did I not save? Fuck. Alright, well, we'll play this game out, I guess. I must not have saved. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Play one, and then we'll fix the deck. Maybe I didn't actually copy the other deck list. So we found Teeth and Ambitions. I'm feeling like this Nick Wild isn't going to be very good here, but jam up this Grammatella. Get in our ink while we can. Yeah, maybe Sisu's just, like, not even that bad. You can shave on some of the ink wild counts for Sisu's. So they can Fox us next turn. We can Teeth this, and then they still just have the other one. I guess the plan is just to play Mother Gothel and attack. And if they fox us. I must have just done this and then X out of the deck. That would make sense. So they do draw the Mim Fox. It's fine. Nick is a little awkward here. Like, using the Teeth on this is really awkward. Because there's nowhere to put the damage that is, like, super favorable for us. Maybe I just don't. This is the spots where Nick feels like shit, right? Because you don't have a Pawpsicle. Plays a goat. I mean, I think I'm just on the plan of be aggressive, but... maybe this deck needs some eyes. Nah, the eye is a little clunky. I'd rather put stuff on the board than dick around with eye, probably. Well, we found a Flaversham, which doesn't really have text. We have an option of, like, bashing Grammatalas here. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just, like, keep trying to close. Eventually they're gonna have to deal with these Talas. Maleficent, Tremainus. We draw a Pabbie, of course. Bounce back the Mim, and they play a goat, sure. Okay, whatever. You got me. Don't want to be playing this version of the deck anyway. Yeah. Let's make sure that this has, yeah, Gaston, okay. Did we actually save this time? We did. Alright, let's try this again. A bit obnoxious, but we will go again, but we'll be down a game. It's fine. We just have to rattle off 3 in a row. No biggie. Alright, let's try this again. Especially now that it feels like, in theory, some of our curve points should feel a little better. I could see the argument for Sisu. Like maybe some Sisu's over the Nyx, but the uninkable is a little tricky. It's maybe a little bit better with the Poo. Nice. I'm glad to hear that, Jabrizi. Yeah, I don't quite have a consistent streaming schedule just yet. At least not as consistent as I would probably like. That is a lot of Gastons. I'm probably going to play this on 3. Like, we only really need 1 Gaston package, I think. Like, we can get rid of these 2, probably. We can keep this one and this one, because we can always ink one of them. Okay. We can get rid of a Maui here and say go. Like, I'm intending on shifting this on 3, or sorry, on 4. So we're going to play this on 2, play this on 3 with the Gaston so that we can shift it on 4, draw another card, and then quest for 3. With Alice, yeah, Alice is really in an awkward spot because there's not enough ways of taking advantage of the extra stats and stuff like you would want. Which kind of sucks, but because there's so many board wipes. It might be better come set 3. Like, okay, so I think the issue is that there's not really any creature combat compared to what you would want there to be for it to be playable. Because you're just not really rumbling in combat ever, really, right? Because if you're doing a lot of, you know, oh, I challenge a bunch of your things, and now I'm doing it up, then a card like that can be really good, because you, like, quest with 2 of your things, and then this thing just, like, trades up favorably. But the reality is that most of the combat in a lot of these games is not... It just doesn't need that much extra oomph to get over the line, right? Like, there's never a situation where you're like, oh, I really need to, like, I really need to have a slightly bigger thing to deal with what they're doing. A lot of times, like, 3 power is enough to kill almost every character from every fucking deck. Like, a disaster would be them bouncing my Gaston, because it's just annoying. Because then I can't shift it. Oh my god. Okay. You've gotten me. I'm not in the Shadow Realm. Why did they bounce it and not attack? What? I don't understand. I'm fine with bouncing it, but why bounce it and also not attack? I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm totally fine bouncing it and then just, like, getting in with Sleepy. The list that I'm currently playing, I'm trying to leverage the combo as a way of doing, like, an aggro deck that can combo kill them. Like, it's playing Reach. Think about all of the cards that are sort of pillars of the format for a lot of these lists. It's Goat and Spellbook. That gives direct reach. The Flute is becoming more popular, which is direct reach for lore. And then Pabbie is one of the only other ways in the game that you can get direct lore gain that is kind of unexplored. Right? So what I'm trying with a list like this, or, you know, these various lists, is to really go hard into, like, leveraging that outcome. You know, getting a bunch of lore early and then just, like, closing the game with Pabbie. I mean, the Green Queen is fine, but it's a little slow. But you're right, that is also another way that is unexplored. Unfortunately, I just don't think that there's enough, like, cards to fling with her yet, in combination with draw. Like, unless you're wheeling, but I don't know, she's a little weak. She can't really do it at instant speed. Like, off the top of your deck, you can't play her and immediately use that effect. And I think that's where the difference comes in. Ooh, what if we just draw another one? We could get a Teeth and Ambitions, too. I think we're going to draw another Gaston, and then we'll be able to shift another one next turn if we want. We can get rid of Judy Hops again. We'll quest with these. Oh, nice. Yeah, like, there was a version of this that I was playing that was playing a lot tighter to the ground, basically. Or, sorry, a lot farther away from the ground, right? It was intending on getting to, like, 18 ink and then just going up for a full one-turn kill, which I thought was cute, and I think that deck was fine in a few decks, but, you know, in a few situations, but, like, hey, Sin. I think I played the game against you wrong. I should have been more aggressive. Like, that was the first time that we played this lore version. I should have just been questing more. If I was just at, like, 12 or 14 lore, I think I just, like, bop you with the Pabbie that was in my hand. I wasn't even thinking about you be preparing me, and I was playing like I was playing the old list. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't on turn 7. In reality, I should have just, like, been sending and making you be the control. I've cut a lot of my non-control things out of this deck already. because I think that I am just not the control. I think this deck is a lot closer to some of the more aggressive decks that Ruby Amethyst is playing. Like, we shift here. We could draw another one, but it is a little slow. Because we're already going to have both of these in. What does Maui do for us? Maui can let us clean up, like, the Simba. You know what? I didn't come here not to play Gastons, right? If we're going to put Gaston in the deck, we're going to just try to draw them. And maybe that means that Gaston is just, like, the fucking business, because he feels pretty good here. Especially with the shift, like... I think our opponent could have been maybe a little bit more aggressive. They played scared into the Gaston a bit. But we're kind of just beaten down. Like, they got to do something offensively here. Okay, so they've bopped one of my Gastons with a Mim. Now what? What's the play here from our opponent? You gonna finally get this Grammatella? You gonna 2-for-1 yourself to get this Gaston? Like, I think this is the way that this deck needs to play, is you make the opponent have to be the control, and you just always play beatdown, and then you just close with Pabbie. Because if you're the one that's closing with Pabbie, like, we can get them with almost any Pabbie spot from this point. I don't know what they're going to use to kill Gaston. Simba, maybe? No, they're just going to quest out. I don't think that's really where you want to be. I don't really know if I care about what my opponent is doing. Hey, Sage Mode. Appreciate the follow. I think we just, like, get the double Gaston going. I'm debating on whether or not I play... Well, we can Pawpsicle first, and then make a decision. With the Teeth and Ambitions, I think I just play a Winnie the Pooh. I Teeth the Grammatella here on the Pinocchio. I can hit the Winnie the Pooh, actually. I don't need to hit the Grammatella. I just, like, do this. I do this. I do this. Say go. So here's the thing. With the deck that I'm playing right now, I want the body. The effect is cute, but I don't care that much about the effect. I want the body, and then the effect is a nice bonus. If I'm trying to ramp, if I really need the ramp, the Quill is better than this card by 10x or more. Like, I think this card is unplayable if you're trying to just ramp. But I want this card to give us 2 lore and also ramp. Because I was playing Judy Hopps just with no effect, which is the same as Winnie the Pooh. Just a 2/3 for 3. Why not Gaston? Because I wanted... So if they had Goat in hand, we just lost. Like, they could have Goat snaked us there and we lose. I didn't want that as a line. So if I Teeth there, then they don't have that as an option. Like, because they didn't have the extra 3 lore. With what ink? Yeah, maybe. Maybe with the ink, the count, they didn't have enough. certainly possible. I mean, they're also still just dead, because I don't think that they have enough to kill Gaston here either. But yeah, it is possible that just playing the Gaston or double Winnie the Pooh was correct there. Like, this deck could maybe even use, like, some Jasmines or something. That's a possibility, too. Oh, I'm running 2-drop Gaston in this as well. I thought about the Cogsworth, but, like, we're not really that worried about steal. Because most of our cards are pretty big butt, all things considered, so, like, the blowout of the steal line just, like, isn't as relevant. But it's possible that just as, like, a ward 5-drop, it's okay. I don't know, there's a lot of cards, once you start opening up some of the like, draw stuff, it's kind of interesting. Or some of the lower cost things. And we have so few uninkables in the deck currently, a little bit more now that we have Gaston. But we're just, like, so low on the unink count with 12 compared to most decks, and that's after we added the 3 Gastons. So we have a Gaston, we have some Pawpsicles, we have like a 1, 2, 3 kind of range. If we want to play the Minnie Mouse, we can. I think I'm okay with this hand. Don't really need to change much, right? It's fine. I'm debating on whether or not I played a little slow, or we play the Minnie Mouse on turn 1 and just play the Pawpsicle into Gumbo or Gaston and then the Winnie the Pooh. Like, we can play it a little slow, and just, like, go with the Pawpsicle line instead. Because we have it. Like, we want one of them turn 1. But because we have the Flaversham, like, we can use the Pawpsicle pile to just draw a bunch of more cards. Yeah, and that's why we're playing a lot lower to the ground with this deck. Because realistically, like, if we don't care about what they're doing, then it just doesn't matter as much. Like, if we're just trying to get to 7 and then just kill them outright, then it just kind of doesn't matter. Comparatively, anyway. We'll probably ink 1 Winnie, play the other Winnie. And then we can leverage, like, the Flaversham plus the Winnie the Pooh to try and get a little bit more lore and keep the cards going. Let's see what we draw, though. I just don't imagine we're going to play a second Winnie the Pooh. And we're kind of in the point where the Gastons aren't useful, though. They're always sort of interesting to shift, I think. Our opponent hasn't really done anything. They've inked a few of their bouncy things, mostly because they haven't had their 1-drop. I think this deck, the Ruby Amethyst deck, really struggles without a 1-drop. Like, I don't know if I would play less than 8, maybe 7, if you're playing some Befuddles. Like, you just need early plays. Yeah, it's very difficult, and I've played enough of the, like, hard ramp versions that I just don't think that you have an easy way of beating a goat with just, like, hard ramp, because they do too much early and you're not doing anything. Which is really unfortunate, but it's just, like, sort of how the deck is. Do we want this Maui ever? Maybe. I don't think we need the second Winnie the Pooh, I think is maybe my thought. I'm going to play this Flaversham. I'm going to get rid of a Pawpsicle and draw 2 cards. It's actually pretty good draws off of that. So let's Winnie the Pooh, and then I think we can get rid of the... Given that we drew these, I'm wondering if we just get rid of Maui here. Could get rid of Be Prepared. Does it seem like we're going to need to be prepared this game? I don't think so. Kind of weird. Maybe get rid of B-Prep. And now we have the ability, if they play like a Fox Mim and bounce this to try and just like eat the Winnie the Pooh, then we don't care. We play Maui, we just like smack the Maleficent down and then Flaversham to gain cards. And then that puts them in a spot where they need to Maui back against me to get the Flaversham off the table. And we can be busy like doing Pawpsicle Gumbo pot stuff and just not worry that much about it. Weirdly, I have not hated the Winnie the Pooh this game. In this deck, you know, where we want to actually have board presence. And we get to put Winnie the Pooh in our deck. Like, I mean, there's good value there, too. So here I predict that they quest, they play the Fox Mim, and they just eat Winnie the Pooh. Yep, that's fine. I mean, we could even Flaversham and hit it. Oh, they don't. Oh, that's even better for us, then. Yeah, we cut the Quill in our last build to run the Winnie the Pooh here. So I'm going to start by questing with Flaversham. Get rid of a Pawpsicle here, draw 2 cards. Let's play a Pawpsicle. Let's ink Teeth and Ambitions here. Just don't think we need it. Play a Nick Wild. Draw a Pawpsicle. Play a Pawpsicle. We can ink that extra Maui. So go. Like, we're using it as a value add, not necessarily as, like, we need this to ramp, which I think is the difference. Because with Quill, you feel compelled to use it. Like, you have to get that extra ink. You have to get to a higher number because your deck is over-flooded with too expensive things. Whereas we're not really stuck in that with this version. Like, we have a 2-lore character here, a 2-lore character here, and they're busy dealing with the Flaversham, which has already drawn us a grip of cards. And we're just going to, like, get to higher ink, be in a spot where Pabbie's good, and then we blast them. They didn't have Maui. They do have Maui. Okay. Rip Winnie the Pooh. Let's draw some cards, then. We're going to get to keep our man. So the Gothels with the Pabbie are quite good here. This has no work here. You can see the deck. I have it updated. It's the bottom one. Make it a little easier, I think. Alright, so we ink the Grammatella. I'm debating on just, like, Teeth and Ambitioning here and then playing the Tremaine to blow that up. I kind of don't hate that. Does that leave us enough to be able to also Gumbo Pot? No. That's fine. Because I'd rather lore too than do that. Do this, play the Tremaine, blast the Maui. Alright, Tremaine gets the Maui, we say go. And then if they don't heal, or if they don't deal with these, we can actually just play Pabbie and like Gumbo in the same turn, and then we can just gain 2, 4, 6, 8 if we want. So that'd be 16. So we just have them lethal if they don't deal with our board right now. It's also budget. If you look at the price of the deck, it's like less than $100, which I think is also kind of sweet. Because we just get to kill our opponent here from 8. We're like, quest here, don't draw, quest here, play Gumbo, play Pabbie, Gumbo, Pawpsicle, Pawpsicle. Dead. That was on their turn 6, I believe. So this was our turn 7. We just killed them. Absolutely, Sin. Here, it's the second one. Here, I'll send it to you in Discord. Where the hell are you? Have we ever chat before in Discord? Or is it only in fucking channels? Always only in channels. It's my whole life. It's okay. I know where you are. I found you. We're friends now. That's just how it is. Right? Like, there's something here. You're doing the same nonsense. I think a lot of what the Amethyst deck is doing is like the same kind of shit that we're doing here. But then we just have Pabbie as a finisher instead of Goat, right? Which I hate playing the mirror like 50 times, you know? And that's essentially what we've been doing, is we've just been playing the mirror 50 times every tournament, which is just exhausting. I'm fine playing the mirror occasionally, but there's only so many times that I'm like, oh yeah, let's play the mirror, you know? Because you eventually get practice with the mirror, like you know what your opponent can do, whereas something like this, like they have no idea. And maybe we cut Judy Hops for the Mini Surfer, and we just like play more aggressive even. Like we just don't care about this effect. I feel like this deck beats aggro most of the time. I'm literally playing 4 Gastons, Teeth and Ambitions, and 4, I thought about the Caterpillar, yeah. I thought the stat line was a little bit low, and it only does lore. So, like, that's why I liked the Winnie the Pooh, just because it does lore plus another thing, which I thought was interesting. Like, there is some value in randomly getting ramp out of it, right? Same with the Grammatal, like, this is a thing that just, like, pushes a little bit of lore, but also it can ramp or whatever. That was sort of the thought behind, because none of the cards outside of Gothel just, like, do that only. I think I'm getting rid of Gothel next turn for the Grammatella, probably. It was like, we have the Judy Hops if we need to interact with something that our opponent is doing. Baby boy, you're fine. Come here. Oh, you're okay. Big whiner. Well, come here then. Come here. No? Come here. Come on. Come say hi. Hi. Hello. are, like, right in my line of sight. Yeah. Hi, baby boy. Hi. Thanks for the kisses. Yeah, he's like, why wouldn't I be in your line of sight? Where else are you going to be able to see me the best? Like, obviously it's right here. I think we can get rid of Judy Hop since we have the other Grandmaster. And we just, like, start bashing them. Yeah, you're a good boy. I'll probably weirdly get rid of the second Flaversham since we have the Nick in hand. Because we only have the one item, I'm likely going to ink the Flaversham and then play the Nick. Basically, the way that we're going to win this is just by pushing Lore until they have to control our board. And then we try to set up for the Pabbie combo, I think. Yeah, you're a good boy. He doesn't like when I stream because he doesn't think that he can bug me. But he's a good boy. Yeah. You like getting pets? Maybe I gotta, like, put my computer tower on the floor and set up a spot on my desk that he can sit. I don't know. I don't even know if he would like being up that high. So they have a Flaversham, which I'm not terribly surprised about. We could Gaston to threaten their Flaversham, but I don't think that that's necessary. No, this list is way faster than the other Pawpsicle decks. Like, way faster. We ended last game on turn 7. Yeah, I don't think I need the Gaston. It lets me bully the Flaversham, but, like, I just don't care if he's drawing cards. What, you little peanut? Meow. Meow, meow. There, how's that? See, they're doing, like, the same thing that I'm doing, except they're not pushing Lore with Grandmatalas. Sure. Nick Wild. Get the Pawpsicle. Get rid of Judy. Play the Pawpsicle. Send them to the Shadow Realm. Do a Maui. We can interact with what they're doing if we want. We have a decent amount of pressure. We can get them pretty well set up for Pabbie, too. We just need to find some Gumbo. Yeah, it's incredibly affordable by comparison. Like, this list is cheap. Since we cut the Maleficent Dragon, like, that card was $100 out of the deck already. So there may perhaps be an altruistic notion to why I'm trying to plan for a deck like this a little bit. That I'm trying to set it up to be maybe, hey, here's an affordable flavor of this deck, if you're so interested. One jump ahead and bashes with Nick here. Okay. I don't think I attack any of their things with the stuff that we have in play. I think we just do this. We could draw more cards with the Flabbersham. That's an option. I think we just... Like, I want to just push more lore, but they can blow up the board, which is good for us because we have the Grammatalas. Maybe we don't actually care, and we just, like, already have a pretty strong presence. Like, we can get rid of the Gaston. We can play the Maui and just, like, bully their card draw. Play the Pawpsicle here. And then say go. Because, like, we still need the Gumbos, so we're going to have to draw some cards to get to that. But we're pretty close to being able to just, like, one-shot them. And we have enough ink, too. Like, if they blow up our board, like, we have these two Grammatalas that all of a sudden put us ahead on ink, in fact. So I'm feeling pretty good in this mirror here. Like, whoever blows up the board with Be Prepared, I think just loses this game, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me if they Maui and hit my Nick Wild, just because they're losing so fast. And then we just get to use our Maui to hit their Nick Wild. It's weird. A weird game. Kind of like it. Maurice! Shit, they're gonna draw so many cards. Do I just let them draw 50 cards? Do I care? Kind of care about this Maurice. Ah, you know what? I messed up. That was a mistake. There was a spot here where I could have put both of these Talas into this Maui, hit here, and then just Tremained and killed the Maurice. I think that would have been stronger, but I don't know if it really matters enough. We'll just do this and let them do... We'll just let them draw cards. Who cares? We'll just start drawing towards Gumbos ourselves, and then it'll be fine. We don't need a second Teeth. I think we can get rid of that and just say go. Yeah, I could have used the Tremaine and the double Tala to, like, ramp ourselves to, and also just clean up the board, force them to be prep. Maybe the ink is just better. I don't know. Or the lore is just better than the ink. I could see that as being true. Yeah, we make them Be Prepared, their own Maurice, and then we get to draw two Grammatalas into our Inkwell. Like, feels pretty good to me. Honestly, a single Gumbo Pot and we just, like, can Pabbie kill them. I'm just gonna, like, run out two Nick Wilds and get some Pawpsicles. They have drawn a lot more cards than me. Do I have much experience with Magic? Yeah, I've played a bit of Magic. Recently, not as much, but I have played a lot of Magic in the past. So let's do a Pawpsicle, play the Pawpsicle before we play the other Nick, just in case we get something else we want to do. So we found a Gumbo Pot. We don't need a second Teeth and Ambitions. We can play the other Nick Wild, I think, just get the Pawpsicle and play it here. And then we can say go. And then I believe that they're just dead next turn if they leave both of these Nicks in play. They're actually dead if they leave one Nick in play. We'll go to 14, and then we can Inca Teeth, play Pabbie, Teeth, Gumbo. And then we Gumbo the two Pawpsicle, and then that's 4 triggers. So that'll work. We don't even need to attack, honestly. But it would save us on a full trigger. We'll see what our opponent does. Yeah, combo decks like this, like, you would have to silence before you can really do that. So they B-prep. I think that's fine. That does not surprise me. We need the Pooh having a thing. We'll play out our Gumbo. I will ink a second Teeth and Ambitions. We only need one for the combo. And I'll just say go. If we get to attack with Pooh, we can ink this and still win next turn. Honestly, I don't care. If they want to snipe me, they snipe me. Like, if I'm going to stream or if I'm going to produce content, it doesn't bother me if people are sniping. They can gain the advantage that they want. I've even played other games, like Auto Battlers. I've played a lot of Storybook Brawl. And there's more room there to gain additional value if they want it. And I just, like, I just don't care. Go nuts. I hope that the value that they gain from doing that is worth it for them to learn. Like, you just don't learn anything if you're stream sniping, because it's just not real. Sheomar, I forgot to mention it, but I appreciate the follow. Same with Little Wog. So we have another Gumbo pot that we don't need, because we have the double Pawpsicle. Like, we only need 4 heals, so we don't need this Gumbo pot necessarily. I'm pretty sure that I should just B-prep this. So we will. And then I don't think that I need another Gumbo pot, so I'm going to get rid of it and then say go. I believe that we are at the point where any character allows us to win. Like, any cheap character. Because we need 9, so anything that is less than 4 or whatever, that we can Teeth and Ambitions, and then we kill them to death. I'm feeling pretty good here. Alright, so we found Judy. That'll work. Let me just do the math to make sure. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's play Judy. Do nothing. Play Pabbie. Play Teeth. Target this and this. Gumbo. Pawpsicle. Pawpsicle. Boom. Neat. So that's plus another 10 points. And then, even though we kind of threw this game in the bin because we hadn't had our new version of the deck, like, we just get the Pabbie Wombo combo. Feels good. Like, the deck doesn't feel bad. Kind of weird, but, like, okay, I almost want more Gastons. Yeah, there's something to it. There's something to it for sure. I actually think that the Winnie the Pooh is okay here. We could maybe shave a Nick Wilde. And then add something else as well.